announcement of the Gervonta Davis-Roach fight?
I think that, you know, it's had a lot of criticism, but
It's Davis and the Roach fight being announced. What do you think of that
I
one?
don't know much about Roach.
Yeah.
Tank Davis. Listen, Tank Davis, no one beating him. The guy is a beast. I mean, the guy's a good boxer.
The closer we edge to December 14th, the more we keep hearing talks of the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight. Despite their initial disagreement, boxing professionals have revealed their picks ahead of the fight, and it's not just as straightforward as you think. Ryan Garcia, who has himself been a victim of Gervonta Davis, feels Gervonta Davis is way too much for Lamont Roach, who is absolutely no match for him.
Why do you believe that is?
Because Tank is just too much like.
And as a result, he sees Lamont Roach getting knocked out. Of course, former unified world champion Amir Khan isn't familiar with Lamont Roach, but he knows Davis as a beast and a very good boxer who has enough skills and power in his arsenal to give Lamont Roach a stoppage defeat.
Yeah, the way he's been fighting, honestly, is I mean, whoever they put in front of him, he destroys. Okay, now that fight, I think.
Two-division champion Teofimo Lopez, who just indicated he was ready for a confrontation later this year, is among those looking for a fight. In a recent interview with Fight Hype, Lopez questioned Davis's faith in facing elite opponents. He underlined the long-standing belief that Davis has been under close control by his management, particularly citing his earlier resistance to face Vasily Lomachenko. The main hole that they have, they don't believe in themselves. How many times did they say that Tank Davis was not ready for Loma, that they had to prep him? How many times did Mayweather have to speak for Gervonta Tank Davis? I'm just speaking facts.
Ain't nobody fighting for me but me. I ain't scared of nobody. Shit, Gervonta Davis ducked Loma for fucking 3 to 4 years. Devin Haney.
Lopez also spoke of an earlier sparring session he conducted with Davis 11 years ago. Whereas Davis was already a professional fighter at 18, Lopez was just 15 at the time. Other than what he described as Davis's aggressive strategies in the ring, Lopez acknowledged that not much can be drawn from the experience. Notwithstanding these observations, Lopez does not minimize Davis's skills. Davis is no easy opponent, he said in a past interview with Fight Sports, but he still believes he is the only one equipped to overcome him.
Devin Haney, same thing. He didn't want to fight Loma. He says to call out and everything. He only does it on social media, but he never throws anything out there. And Ryan Garcia was doing his social media at the time.
Tank ain't a pushover. I guess the only one that can really beat Tank is me. I guess I gotta do it. Nobody else can do the job. Although Lopez has not stated a specific fight date, he has indicated another potential weight increase. Davis is supposed to make a comeback to the ring in December in Washington, maybe facing Lamont Roach, the super featherweight champion.
Building up his followers, you know, and now look where that got him. So the whole thing is all about, man, just I'm a real fighter. That's what it is, man, the truth. And the truth hurts a lot of people, but they got to learn how to.
Two-division champion Teofimo Lopez, who just indicated he was ready for a confrontation later this year, is among those looking for a fight. In a recent interview with Fight Hype, Lopez questioned Davis's faith in facing elite opponents. He underlined the long-standing belief that Davis has been under close control by his management, particularly citing his earlier resistance to face Vasily Lomachenko. The main hole that they have, they don't believe in themselves. How many times did they say that Tank Davis was not ready for Loma, that they had to prep him? How many times did Mayweather have to speak for Gervonta Tank Davis? I'm just speaking facts.
Eat your words. Take it in. I beat Lomachenko. For me, I scored a 9-3. For you guys, I could care less because y'all don't know shit about boxing.
Lopez also spoke of an earlier sparring session he conducted with Davis 11 years ago. Whereas Davis was already a professional fighter at 18, Lopez was just 15 at the time. Other than what he described as Davis's aggressive strategies in the ring, Lopez acknowledged that not much can be drawn from the experience. Notwithstanding these observations, Lopez does not minimize Davis's skills. Davis is no easy opponent, he said in a past interview with Fight Sports, but he still believes he is the only one equipped to overcome him.
I'll take that in. I ain't one to fucking play with.
I respect it, man. Your truth.
Tank ain't a pushover. I guess the only one that can really beat Tank is me. I guess I gotta do it. Nobody else can do the job. Although Lopez has not stated a specific fight date, he has indicated another potential weight increase. Davis is supposed to make a comeback to the ring in December in Washington, maybe facing Lamont Roach, the super featherweight champion. The former featherweight champion Russell says WBA regular lightweight champion Tank Davis is bamboozling the public.
The right opponent, or that Lamont's not going to present a challenge.
It ain't no perception. Y'all know what it is, man. Tank picking and choosing. I always say it.
Picking and choosing weak opposition instead of the fighters that fans want to see him. This is done to ensure that Tank doesn't get beaten. Tank Davis has been holding the secondary World Boxing Association lightweight belt for ages, which has kept him protected from having to fight the dangers that he would have to face if he held the main title. Russell doesn't think too much of Tank's latest choice of opponent, Lamont Roach, who was dug up from the super featherweight division.
Ain't nothing personal, but at some point, Tank gotta take it personal. If I'm saying, I think you a bitch because you fighting somebody that's really not a dog, that's really...
He claimed, Tank has been fighting a lot of people that fans don't want to see him fight anyway. I could have seen that coming, said Gary Russell Jr. to Fight Hype, reacting to Gervonta Davis handpicking Lamont Roach from the super featherweight division rather than selecting a lightweight. Gervonta has been fighting opposition that fans had no interest in seeing for his 11-year career. The only instance where he fought someone that fans wanted to see was when he fought Ryan Garcia, and that was considered a mismatch. Whatever chance Ryan had of winning, Tank's weight stipulations that he was stuck in the contract drained it right out of him.
I'm not gonna, now don't get me wrong, I don't wanna discredit Lamont Roach. I know Lamont Roach, he's a good guy, you know what I'm saying? I know his father, they all cool, you know what I'm saying? But
I don't think he can do that for much longer. I believe the fans as well as the media networks like yourself that have the platform and have the ability to push, Russell said, when asked how much longer Tank Davis can get away with cherry-picking weak opposition the way he's been doing his entire 11-year career. Tank will likely get away with soft opposition up until he retires because he doesn't bring in large PPV numbers and he's got a loyal following. They don't care if he doesn't fight great opposition because many of them don't know anything about the sport. As far as they're concerned, Lamont Roach is elite. However, fighting the kind of opposition that Tank has faced since he turned pro in 2013 will doom him to lower PPV numbers for the remainder of his career.
I think it's levels to everything. Don't think that you're fighting someone from the area and make it seem like it's Baltimore versus something.
He's never going to be someone who brings in 1 million buys because he's not fighting the opposition that people want to see. You all are the ones who are being bamboozled. You all want to see the best compete against the best, and the people that you all feel as though are the best, they're not trying to compete against the best, said Russell. They'd rather fight someone that you all don't even know. You all never heard of them. If Tank's management cared about matching him against the best, he would be scheduled to fight Edwin De Los Santos on December 14th, not Lamont Roach. He would have fought Vasily Lomachenko in 2017 when he was first called out by him.
That dog from the area, because that dog from the area is right here. Everybody know that. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, man. He picked.
Everybody is like, damn, why is he fighting this person? Nah, that stuff is too difficult for them. Your favorite fighters are suckers out here. That's a fact. A period on that. It ain't no perception. Tank is picking and choosing. I always say, it ain't nothing personal. But Tank got to take it personally if I'm saying, I think you're a wimp because you're fighting someone that's not a dog. I don't want to discredit Lamont Roach. I know Lamont Roach. He's a good guy. I know his father. They're all cool, but there are levels to everything. Don't think that you're fighting someone from the area and making it seem like it's Baltimore versus some dog from the area.
Picking and choosing. At some point, when does pride, when does ego, when does integrity kicks in and say, fuck it, I really do want to see, am I as good as I really think I am? I want to...
He then continued, he's picking and choosing. At some point, when does pride, when does ego, when does integrity kick in and say, I really do want to see if I'm as good as I really think I am. I want to try to do better. Where is that in the sport today? If they're both 100% healthy, I don't think Lamont has a chance of winning this fight. In my personal opinion, I don't think Lamont is going to win the fight. It'll be interesting in the beginning half of the fight. In the latter half of the fight, Tank is going to start walking him down and start touching him. KO or TKO, one of the two, said Russell Jr. on the outcome of the Tank versus Roach fight. It'll be a money grab type of thing for Lamont. He'll get a little money, but it's not the career-defining stuff. Tank fighting Lamont Roach is not a career-defining fight. It's not a fight where people will think that he's at risk or Lamont is a threat to him.
On that level.
From a boxing standpoint, what makes Tank Tank? we see the power, but it's got to be more than that.
Nah, he's strategic. He's setting guys up. He been boxing.
Shakur Stevenson, who had been waiting for Tank all this while, also commented on the fight. Out of frustration, he went ahead to fix a world championship match against Joe Cordina in the same card of Bivol versus Beterbiev, before eventually picking up an injury.
For his last fight with Frank Martin, you can see Frank Martin was more so an amateur. Like, the experience he got is not on the level of like Tank. And
a fan had tweeted on X, writing, Lomachenko turned down Tank, Shakur went to Matchroom, Zepeda is fighting Tevin Farmer, Dennis Bernchik is MIA. Who else was Tank supposed to fight in December? In response, Shakur Stevenson tweeted, you all boys gotta get off your knees. He seems very indifferent about the fight, as he expects just another routine win for Gervonta Davis. Elsewhere, Shakur Stevenson also commented on a possible fight against Ryan Garcia. The statements arose after recent comments from Bernard Hopkins. However, for Hopkins' dream fight to happen, Stevenson would need to clear his schedule, and both fighters might have to agree on a catch weight. Until that happens, this potential showdown remains just a fantasy.
You think they could do it at 143, and that would be the way?
I can tell you what I think he should fight when the time comes.
Although there are no confirmations yet, interest in this bout is growing among fans. Stevenson addressed the topic on his social media. On his X account, he wrote, I'm kind of scheduled to beat his other fighter in February. I would love that fight too, though.
Than Roach, but Roach can box, but to me, he's more of an inside fighter. He fight better on the inside.
And regardless, most aren't impressed by the matchmaking, including former undisputed lightweight champion and current World Boxing Council super lightweight champion Devin Haney. Haney, who is included within a group of young American fighters alongside Davis that fans want to see fight, laughed at the news. One could tell that Haney's laughter was because he felt Lamont Roach was a tune-up and would be beaten woefully against Tank Davis. Tank responded quickly with a picture of Haney taking a shot from shared opponent Ryan Garcia, saying, "Let's keep laughing. Your face hates to see a left hook coming." Davis also posted comparing their fights. He stopped Garcia with a body shot last year, but the latter bounced back to defeat Haney via decision before a failed doping test led to the result being overturned to a no contest. Haney currently doesn't have a return date, recently revealing that Teofimo Lopez turned down an offer for a unification fight. Should Davis decide to move up to the 140 ranks again soon, fans will hope they settle their differences in the ring. Conor Benn, who's a sworn enemy of Gervonta Davis, doesn't really want the best for Tank Davis. However, he also has to accept the fact that only a miracle would make the underdog, Lamont Roach, come out on top.
Yeah. It's going to be a stoppage, early doors, whoever it is.
Excited for Saturday?
Hence, he predicted an early stoppage for whoever was fast enough to grab it. We all know it's Gervonta Davis's win most likely, and Conor Benn does too. But boxing is a sport of surprises, isn't it?
Part of everything that's going on. Just to be here today, fighting in the MGM, putting on, you know what I mean? A great event. You know what I mean?
Thank you guys.
Tank, who you got in the finals?
In a conversation with Mill City Boxing, Humberto Betancourt admitted that they were contacted by Davis's team, and after such a lucrative offer, they even started preparing for the fight. But eventually, Roach claimed that opportunity for himself. When asked about the matchup, the coach declared, "Hey, I ain't knocking on him. It is a good fight. 130 going up to 135. Why would you fight somebody who is a natural 135 pounder?" When De Los Santos and Roach are put together, the latter would come out as an easier matchup.
We got more to do. Got more to do, guys. I don't know. Right.
As Betancourt pointed out, it was tougher to beat a natural 135-pound boxer than someone who will put up weight for the fight. However, it doesn't take away the fact that Roach is the reigning champion at 130, is on a 6-fight win streak, and he has only suffered 1 defeat in his 27-fight-long career. Renowned for his explosive force and crowd-pulling skills, Gervonta Davis has become one of the most brilliant boxing stars.
Pound for pound, I think I'm a harder puncher than Tank.
That's very interesting, and I know the fans are going to love to hear that. You never know what could happen. Is Tank somebody you would like to see yourself in the ring with?
Absolutely.
However, it seems he has EA's News co-founder, Eli Sekbach, come to his rescue. When asked about the particular situation, Sekbach explained the decision was not Davis's fault. He took the lightweight champion's side and pointed out how promoters dictated the events and matchup choices, not the fighters. He said, "Because it's not his fault, but you are criticizing him for it. So why are you criticizing him if it's not his fault? Any fighter doesn't determine who they fight. The promoter picks fighters for them. Fighters don't have that power. Do you think they do? It doesn't work like that. Fighters don't control nothing," Sekbok added.
Defense to fight Tank, which isn't a defense because he moved up in weight. So we thought that the WBA probably would strip him and I fight Otar for the belt.
Yeah, that's right.
While many of these boxing professionals may have the wrongest thing to say about Gervonta Davis, what they can't gainsay is his superstar status and mind-blowing aura that makes him more than just a world champion. Sugar Ray Leonard, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, names that need no introduction. Aura does that for them. PR companies and managers attempt to create this type of aura, but ultimately fail. As a boxing fan, you yearn for these types of fighters.
In boxing. Oh, he took a big left.
Misses. There's a left hand from
Davis himself would get the left hand in. Very nice left.
They turn the mundane into a spectacle and leave the sport as legends. There is currently one fighter who has this special sauce in abundance, and luckily for us, his best fights are yet to come. Gervonta Tank Davis is a breath of fresh air. The 5'6" southpaw from Baltimore, with a record of 30-0 with 28 fights ending inside the distance, is one of the biggest names in boxing. To the untrained eye, his boxing style could be seen as reckless, but he's far from it.
Talked about the jab that Romero's using, really effective.
That was caught in the gloves.
What he does in the ring is intentional and precise. Not many fighters can boast a highlight reel like Tank. His knockouts are mesmerizing. Davis's obvious attributes are his naturally heavy hands, which make him capable of knocking his opponents out cold with either hand. His pinpoint accuracy and level changes make this God-given talent even more devastating. He tends to dip at his knees or waist, then spring up with his power shots. While watching Davis, you'll see him lunge or push in with big shots.
Davis, I think we're likely to see that as he the left hand is going to come from Romero.
This may look like he's leaving himself in a compromised position, but if you watch close enough, you'll see that he always finishes the shot in a safe position. He does this by framing, using his forearm to keep his opponent where he wants them, or using his shoulder to nudge them off balance. In the early rounds of Davis's fights, you'll see him take his time. He's not even trying to win these early rounds. He's downloading data.
Davis is not using, well, there he did. I was from Romero.
Looking at his opponent's shape, seeing what their power is like and adjusting to their speed, sometimes it may look as though his opponents are giving Davis a run for his money. They're not. Davis just hasn't chosen his time yet. In these early rounds, when the action hasn't kicked off, you might expect to hear some boos from the crowd or maybe some restlessness. Not in a Tank fight. The crowd knows a knockout is coming. That's the Tank aura.
Oh, got a little open for a counterpunch. He might want to jab his way out. Well, and there's an elbow for a guy.
Good body shot.
Undoubtedly one of the most eye-catching offensive fighters out there, his defense tends to get overlooked. This could be because all of his defensive techniques are implemented in a way that capitalizes on countering, which is the calling card of an intelligent knockout artist. You will often see his opponents in a game of catch-up because he's constantly changing his shape. Most fighters have a shape, which rarely changes, whereas Tank will change his shape throughout his fights, sometimes adopting a wide stance with his front shoulder forward in the Philly shell, sometimes standing square in front of his opponents, all depending on how he wants to set his shots up.
Second warning.
Good here is just counter left hand as the joy of Gervonta Davis.
Watching Gervonta, it is clear that he has learned from his old mentor, Floyd Mayweather. You'll see Tank baiting his opponents by putting his weight on his front foot and placing his gloves up by his temples. This encourages his opponent to overreach and make mistakes, allowing Tank to capitalize, a tactic we would see Mayweather use often. Davis's underrated skills, along with his KO power, make him the full package. He's currently one of the highest performing pay-per-view stars in boxing, meaning he can call the shots. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.